Do you want to know more about multicultural and global literacy? Oh well, if that's the case, then keep watching on this video. Hello everyone, this is Jonalyn and today I am going to give you some important details you need to know about multicultural and global literacy. Multicultural literacy consists of the skills and ability to identify the creators of knowledge and their interests, to uncover the assumptions of knowledge, to view knowledge from diverse ethnic and cultural perspectives, and to use knowledge to guide action that will create a human and just world. Multicultural literacy then brings attention to diversity, equity, and social justice, to foster cultural awareness by addressing difficult issues like discrimination and oppression towards other ethnicities. According to Booth, education for multicultural literacy should help students to develop the 21st century skills and attitudes that are needed to become active citizens who will work towards achieving social justice within our communities. Because of the growing racial, language, and ethnic diversity in our country, multicultural literacy needs to be transformed in substantial way to prepare students to function effectively in the 21st century. By making small changes within the classrooms, it can create big changes globally. As diversity grows, there is a need for the emergence of multicultural education that is more representative of the students in today's classrooms. By teaching students to be advocates for multiculturalism, we are also sending a message of empathy and tolerance in schools as a need to develop deeper understanding of others and appreciation of different cultures. With this being said, in order for students to develop these attitudes and skills, it requires basic knowledge prior to teaching students how to question assumptions on cultural knowledge and how to critically think about these important cultural issues, which is what essentially makes multicultural literacy a 21st literacy. Global literacy aims to address issues of globalization, racism, diversity, and social justice. It requires awareness and action consistent with a broad understanding of humanity, the planet, and the impact of human decisions on both. It also aims to empower students with knowledge and take action to make a positive impact in the world and their local community. According to the Ontario Ministry of Education of 2015, a global citizen should display most or all of the following characteristics. First, respect for humans, no matter their race, their gender, religion, or political perspectives. Second, respect for diversity of various perspectives. Third, promoting sustainable pattern of living, consumption, and production. And lastly, appreciate the natural world and demonstrate respectful towards the rights of all living things. And how are multicultural, and global literacy interconnected? Every classroom contains students of different race, religion, and cultural groups. Students embrace diverse behaviors, cultural values, patterns of practices, and communication. Yet they all share the same commonality, and that is their educational opportunity. Teachers should teach their students that other cultures exist and thus deserve to be acknowledged and respected. In integrating a variety of cultural contexts into lessons and activities, teaches students to view the world from many angles, create respect for diversity, and enable students to learn exciting information. As classrooms become increasingly more diverse, it is important for educators to acknowledge and address diversity issues and to integrate multiculturalism information into the classroom curriculum. And then global competence. What is global competence? Global competence is a multidimensional construct that requires a combination of knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values successfully applied to global issues or intercultural situations. Global issues refer to those that affect people and deep implications for current and future generations. Intercultural situations refers to face-to-face, virtual, or mediated encounters with people who are perceived to be from a different cultural background. Why is it important for students to develop global competence? Well, global competence can help young people to, first, develop cultural awareness and respectful interactions in increasingly diverse societies. Second, recognize and challenge cultural biases and stereotypes, and facilitate harmonious living in a multicultural communities. Third, prepare for the world of work, which increasingly demands individuals who are effective communicators, are open to people from different cultural backgrounds, can build trust in diverse teams, and can demonstrate respect for others, especially as technology continues to make it easier to connect on a global scale. And care about global issues and engage in tackling social, political, economic, and environmental challenges. Next is promoting global competence in schools. Schools play a crucial role in helping young people to develop global competence. They can provide opportunities for young people to critically examine global developments that are significant to both the world at large and to their own lives. They can teach students how to critically, effectively, and responsibly use digital information and social media platforms. Schools can encourage intercultural sensitivity and respect by allowing students to engage in experiences that foster an appreciation for diverse people, languages, and cultures. Schools are also uniquely positioned to enhance young people's ability to understand their place in the community and the world, and improve their ability to make judgments and take action. And then we have the need for global competence. Why do we need global competence? Well, to live harmoniously in multicultural communities. Education for global competence can promote cultural awareness and respectful interactions in increasingly diverse societies. Since the end of the Cold War, ethnocultural conflicts have become the most common source of political violence in the world, and they show no sign of abating. The many episodes of indiscriminate violence in the name of religious or ethnic affiliation challenge the belief that people with diverse cultures are able to live peacefully in close proximity, accept difference, find common solutions, and resolve disagreements. Dimensions of global competence. Education for global competence builds on the ideas of different models of global education, such as intercultural education, global citizenship education, and education for democratic citizenship. Despite differences in their focus and scope, which cultural differences or democratic culture rather than human rights or environmental sustainability, these models share a common goal to promote students' understanding of the world and empower them to express their views and participate in society. Competence is not a merely specific skill, but is a combination of knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values successfully applied to face-to-face, virtual, or mediated encounters with people who are perceived to be from a different cultural background and to individual experiences of global issues. Acquiring global competence is a lifelong process. There is no single point at which an individual becomes completely globally competent. PISA will assess at what stage 15-year-old students are situated in this process and whether the schools are effectively address the development of global competence. Global competence is the capacity to examine local, global, and intercultural issues, to understand and appreciate the perspectives and worldviews of others, to engage in open, appropriate, and effective interactions with people from different cultures, and to act for collective well-being sustainable development. This definition outlines four target dimensions, of global competence that people need to apply successfully in their everyday life. First, the capacity to examine issues and situations of local, global, and cultural significance. Second, the capacity to understand and appreciate different perspectives and worldviews. Third, the ability to establish positive interactions with people of different national, ethnic, religious, or social cultural backgrounds or gender. And lastly, the capacity and disposition to take constructive action toward sustainable development and collective well-being. The first dimension we have is examine issues of local, global, and cultural significance. This dimension refers to globally competent people's practices of effectively combining knowledge about the world and critical reasoning whether they form their own opinion about a global issue. People who acquire a mature level of development in this dimension use a higher order thinking skills, such as selecting and weighing appropriate evidences to reason about global developments. Globally competent students can draw and combine the disciplinary knowledge and models of thinking acquired in schools to ask questions, analyze data and arguments, explain phenomena, and develop position concerning a local, global, or cultural issues. Development in this dimension also requires media literacy, defined as the ability to access, analyze, and critically evaluate media messages, as well as to create new media content. Globally competent people are effective users and creators of both traditional and digital media. The second dimension is understand and appreciate the perspectives and worldviews of others. This dimension highlights that globally competent people are willing and capable of considering global problems and other people's perspectives and behaviors from multiple viewpoints. As individuals acquire knowledge about others' cultural histories, values, communication styles, beliefs, and practices, they acquire the means to recognize that their perspectives and behavior are shaped by multiple influences, that they are not always fully aware of these influences, and that others have views of the world that are profoundly different from their own. Engaging with different perspectives and worldviews requires individuals to examine the origins and implications of others and their own assumptions. This in turn implies a profound respect for and interest in who the other is, their concept of reality, and their emotions. Individuals with this competence also account for and appreciate the connections that enable them to bridge differences and create common ground. They retain their cultural identity but are simultaneously aware of the cultural values and beliefs of people around them. Recognizing another position or belief is not necessarily to accept that position or belief. However, the ability to see through another cultural filter provides opportunities to deepen and question one's own perspectives, and thus makes more mature decisions when dealing with others. The third dimension is engage in open, appropriate, and effective interactions across cultures. This dimension describes what globally competent individuals are able to do when they interact with people from different cultures. They understand the cultural norms, interactive styles, and degrees of formality of intercultural context, and they can flexibly adapt their behavior and communication to suit. This dimension addresses appreciation for respectful dialogue, desire to understand the other, and efforts to include marginalized groups. It emphasizes individuals' capacity to interact with others across differences in ways that are open, appropriate, and effective. Open interactions mean relationships in which all participants demonstrate sensitivity towards curiosity about and willingness to engage with others and their perspectives. Appropriate refers to interactions that respect the expected cultural norms of both parties. An effective communication, all participants are able to make themselves understood and understand other. And the fourth dimension is take action for collective well-being and sustainable development. This dimension focuses on young people's role as active and responsible members of society and refers to individuals' readiness to respond to a given local, global, or intercultural issues or situation. This dimension recognizes that young people have multiple realms of influence ranging from personal to local to digital and global. Competent people create opportunities to take informed, reflective action and have their voices heard. Taking action may imply standing up for a schoolmate whose human dignity is in jeopardy, initiating a global media campaign at school, or disseminating a personal viewpoint on the refugees crisis via social media. Globally competent people are engaged to improve living conditions in their own communities and also to build a more just, peaceful, inclusive, and environmental sustainable world. Thank you for taking time watching this video. I hope that you gained some knowledge and learnings about it. This has been Jonalyn Carceler Gamao, signing off.